Stone Brewing's offshoot brand, Arrogant Consortia, is where we can find the most popular American strong ale. It's a beer that it's been said put San Diego on the craft brew map. Arrogant Bastard Ale debuted in November of 1997. Of its name, why is it called that? Well, according to Stone Brewing CEO and founder Greg Cook, it told me what its name was. I think that Arrogant Bastard Ale, and this confuses some people, has always been named Arrogant Bastard Ale. I often see eyes glazing over when I say this, but I honestly believe that throughout the annals of time, throughout the millennia, Arrogant Bastard Ale has always been there and has always carried its righteous name. It just is. It patiently, or more like impatiently, sat for eons just waiting to be discovered. We did not create it, I did not name it, it was already there. We were just a few lowly mortals to have stumbled upon it. Steve, the Stone Brewing Company president and co-founder, was the first to learn how to brew the beer that already was, and I was the first to realize what its name already was. So basically, we're never going to get an answer of why it was really called that, are we? Now, the original logo of Arrogant Bastard is of a gargoyle holding a mug of beer and looking quite arrogant. It was created by a local San Diego designer and illustrator named Thomas K. Matthews, who did most, if not all, of Stone Brewing Company's labels back when Arrogant Bastard was on the main Stone Brewing label, which, by the way, it split off in 2015 to Arrogant Consortia, calling it the Bastard family of beers. Now, in that family includes Oaked Arrogant Bastard Ale, Double Bastard Ale, Depth Charged Double Bastard Ale, Bourbon Barrel Aged Arrogant Bastard, Crime Punishment, and Lucky Bastard Ale. Many of these beers, of course, American strong ales as well. Really hard to find a profile for this beer. This beer's been around for a long, long time. I remember having it years and years ago and really not being able to see any summary of it other than its 7.2% ABV and really high on the IBU scale. Of course, American strong ales tend to be. This one is at 100, whopping 100 IBUs. I don't really have anything informational as far as malts or hops goes. I can't really find any. The closest I was able to find was a recipe for an Arrogant Bastard clone on one of the home brewing websites, but that's about it. And I don't know how accurate that recipe might be. For food pairings, well, I did find a website that said that the malt and hops in Arrogant Bastard need meat. They go with a porterhouse or strip loin steak to enhance the malts and, more importantly, the meat itself. And very, very shocked here, despite having reviewed Bourbon Barrel Aged Arrogant Bastard, Double Bastard, and Oaked Arrogant Bastard, I never did a formal review of the original Arrogant Bastard. I know I've had it several times, and I can't believe I've never reviewed it. It must have just slipped through the cracks. Maybe I kind of liked the amped up Arrogant Bastards and decided to review them and just forgot about the original all along. So not my first time trying, but this will be my very first time reviewing the original Arrogant Bastard Ale. So a few years ago when Stone did its kind of rebranding and they created this offshoot Arrogant Consortia, which contained all the Arrogant beers, I believe they also updated their labels and changed their label Gargoyle to a little bit more of a Marvel comic book-esque look to it. I'm not sure if this was the same artist that did the original ones, but there had been some criticism on the redrawn Gargoyle, saying it's more friendly to the wine types. I don't know what that means. Really don't know what that means. But I guess that's a criticism. I just don't know how this particular Gargoyle appeals to quote-unquote wine types. So I don't know. However, they did refresh the brand. Actually, there's a really bitter article about the whole Arrogant library, I guess you can call it, of beers online that says they should just retire the whole thing. Why? I don't know. I mean, it's always been around. I know Double Bastard's been one of my favorites. I haven't had Double Bastard in years, but I'm hoping they still sell it. And of course, they're in the top 10, so that'll be one of them. If and when I get around to trying it, you'll see. Of course, I'm putting all these in a playlist form, so they're going to end up being out of order as far as the time of taping. But as I do them, I'm going to stick them in the different playlists. So, without further ado, I'm probably saying get down to the beer review. First time I've ever reviewed this. Many times I've had it. Haven't had this in a long time, though. I don't think I've had it since they formed the Arrogant Consortia. I think I had the old Stone Brewing Company Arrogant Bastard Ale. So pouring it into this goblet, Very brown pour with a very thin head, as you can see. A little bit, yeah, it's very heavy look to it. It's got that strong, boozy looking quality, even though it comes into us only 7.2%. Definitely one of the lower ABV beers of this style. As we mentioned in our style review, many of these beers can get up to 20%, 25%, so they can really pack quite a wallop when they get up there. And just like all the other Arrogant Bastards I've ever had, it has probably the longest wordage here. It almost looks like it's the Declaration of Independence here. Not going to read it all in its entirety. It's, again, mostly just jargon and tongue-in-cheek humor about how arrogant this beer is. There's really no substance to describing this beer other than, they just play on the arrogant thing. They don't really have any interest in explaining it, which is kind of weird, but a little bit arrogant as well. Not sure I like that approach. Not very down to earth, but it's gotten them through, and they've been considered one of the best. Stone, that is, has been considered one of the best breweries in America for years. So, aroma-wise of Arrogant Bastard Ale, yeah, very hoppy aroma. Of course, 100 IBUs it better be. Very malty, malt hop is what I'm getting. Maybe a little bit of a chocolatey, more of a caramely, molasses, sugary kind of scent to it. Definitely smells like it's going to be a little bit of a heavy beer, so taste-wise. Yeah, this is very, very heavy on the tongue. It kind of almost tastes like, I guess you could say, like a heavier IPA mixed with porter, maybe? Like an IPA porter kind of taste to it. So right on the top of the tongue, you get this hop bomb. It finishes malty, and it gets into a bit of a dankness territory as well. Definitely crushes the tongue. I could definitely see this going with some kind of caramelized meat, or maybe even just something seasoned a little heavy with some heavy sauce. Decent taste to it. I've had this, like I said, several years ago. I couldn't tell you if this tastes any different than what I've had before. I know Double Bastard is quite boozy. This one, not so much, but man, it packs quite a taste. I mean, the taste is very, very hardcore for this beer. I like it though. I'm going to go ahead and give Arrogant Bastard Ale an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's got a decent look to it. Very, very heavy on the molasses, sugary aroma. The hops are right there as well. Where it kind of falters a little bit for me is in the dankness of the taste in the back of the throat. You get that hop forward / malty bomb in the front, and then it kind of gets a little harsh on the back of the tongue. I think the harshness might be amped up a little bit, but overall a very decent beer, a great one. So yeah, I guess you could classify 8.5 out of 10 as great for Arrogant Bastard Ale, the #1 most popular American strong ale.